All right, here we go. Are you excited?
I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm nervous.
Nervous is good. Nervous is the cousin to excited.
Of course the AC kicks on after all my work to get it to not.
Shouldn't be
Okay.
on too long.
All right, so we're going to give time for everyone to show up. Hopefully that won't take too long. Hi.
Hi. It's good seeing you again.
It's good seeing you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Miss these little get-togethers that we have.
So I'm running a game for you.
Yes. Would you like me to go into any detail on my side of it?
Is there any detail you'd like to go into here?
I'm sure. I'm going to be playing a Blade Singer tonight. This is my first one. I'm excited for that. There's going to be some NPCs that I helped put together that are going to be role-played by the DM. When it comes to tactical side, I'm going to be throwing in my 2 cents for that.
Could you do me a favor
What you
and
mean?
check your phone and see if we are live?
See if we're live.
Just to make sure.
What platform are we on?
The one that you have opened up on your phone. Oh, we haven't yet. Let me start stream. There we go. Ready?
Backing out and checking. Yeah,
And we're live. Are you excited?
I am very excited.
Let's do this all again because I thought I had clicked go live. I'm still new to all this. I'm trying so hard to learn, and there's no proper way of learning until you actually do. So here we are.
This is us live.
Okay.
We're good.
So hi. We're gonna take a couple minutes to let people get here. This is my first time DMing on Twitch. I will be very honest, I'm still getting used to 5e. Gosh, I need a haircut. So yeah. Hi! Are you excited?
Yes, excited. Excited is the word. And
Nervous.
nervous. And nervous is the cousin to excited.
It's rocket fuel for doing live streams. So,
I'm good.
I'm going to be running a game out of a one-shot module. Cheesecake!
I'm trying to see it backward.
I lost my train of thought.
Cheesecake.
No. I'm running a one-shot module. Hopefully that can turn into a full campaign if you want to. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently where he created the rest of his party. I'm going to be running them, and then he takes them over for combat, and then I just roll everything out. So I'm glad you're excited. I will admit, once we get going in the game, I'm not going to be checking comments that much. But real quick, I'm going to be using my Gliska dice for this. I made a nice little dice rolling sheet for tonight. Took me like half an hour. So, but we got new desks just for being able to do this. And I didn't want to bang them up with my metal dice. So,
Vantage die.
oh yeah. And tonight we are I'm going to try to make something out of this for each live we do.
Fireball damage.
For each live that we do. Tonight, like the other night, I'm doing the good berry blend. It's ice cubes, orange juice, baby spinach, honey, salt, blueberries, and a banana. And it's actually really, really good.
Especially for someone who doesn't
So-
really like banana.
Yeah, I don't like bananas very much. This is the book that I'm getting it out of. I've been cooking a lot out of this book lately. Like the dwarvish meatballs are really
The
good.
dwarves meatballs were really good. The hand pies were really good.
The hand pies come out of my Hobbit cookbook.
Oh.
Would you put this over there, please? Thank you. And then our snackage for tonight is going to be the D&D Nerds. I've loved Nerds for forever, so the fact that they've teamed up with Dungeons and Dragons just makes my heart happy. And who knows, maybe I can do this enough to the point that they want to send me stuff. So, the book that I'm running out of today is this one. So, I'm excited. We found these at Hobby Lobby, but anywhere Nerds are sold,
Dude, Hobby Lobby had them. Come on, man.
and we don't shop there very often, so... And let's try these. See if they're any good.
Yes, please.
Okay. One for you. And one for me. It's like bite-sized nerd rope. I love it.
That's exactly what it is.
Aw. Cool. And yeah, we're just going to take a couple minutes to try to let people come in here. I do know. And hi. I know that I don't use my personal details when I'm doing high thrall stuff, so I try not to use other people's. So if I don't call you by name, I'm trying to respect you the way that I do me, or expect for. Words are hard.
You treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yes. All right. So how many minutes do you think we should spend waiting?
We're 7 minutes in. I think we'll give them to the good round 10:45
Okay.
because it took us that long to get everything set up. The last minute panic of
Yeah, right? So these iridescent straws, you can buy a 4-pack of them from Five Below for like $3. I love it.
metal straws, reusable.
With how much I use straws.
Thanks, that one other guy.
Oh, thank you.
Do you prefer your full term, or can we just call you Exy?
What would you like us to call you? All of you. See, this is why I'm nervous, is I've DM'd a lot. But there's that idea of, what if I'm not actually any good at DMing?
What if I've been doing it wrong and somebody notices?
And I'm still getting used to 5e because I did Pathfinder in 3.5 for so long. I haven't utilized the books like I should. Okay. I'm so excited about this game. So we got this book, and this was the first module I flipped open to. And I read the synopsis for it, and I was like, oh, that's really good. Hey, would you be interested in me running a game? He's like, yeah. So then I actually sat down and read the whole thing, and it was just a moment of, oh. It's a really interesting concept. I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you guys. So we're going to go ahead. No, we still have 2 minutes.
Yeah, just a couple minutes.
Let me, let people know we're doing this right now. So, recording you guys. It's like the fourth wall's being broken.
I have spells for that. Speaking of which, tonight I will be playing the role of a blade singer. There will be, I don't know if you want me to just...
Go ahead.
Okay. For the NPCs, there is a dwarf paladin, there is a Goliath rune knight, and a halfling bard. And that is what we hope will be enough to get through what's in store for us. Fingers crossed.
I tried not to give him too many details.
It was rough.
I'm one of those people where I can't hold on to Christmas gifts. So, yeah. All right. Blade slingers are massively underappreciated.
Agreed. Been while waiting for this day to come, doing a lot of YouTube video research and stuff with other D&Ders in the community, and this is like the #1 Gish, which is spellcaster combatant combo that I found that's out there as far as like other people's opinions. So
when I did that live stream with Kindle and that whole group, the fighter
Sonic Knight,
Milo, the guy who played him, it was completely precious. The whole thing was a great setup. I knew he was a fighter and everything, a fighter type, and it never occurred to me it was psionics, because there's always been kind of a stereotype that goes with psionic characters, and to see it played like that took me by surprise in a really positive way, because it was, I need to break out of thinking of classes like that, and I've enjoyed the TikTok conversations about different D&D classes where it's no longer, which is the most hated class and why is it Rangers or whatever, and instead it's, can we stop crapping on what brings people joy and start lifting it up and understanding this is about escapism and having fun or being creative with what's presented. And that was a in real time example of it to me instead of just looking at people's videos.
And then for us also coming up through 3.5, psionics has always been its own entity. Like, you have worlds that are dedicated to this instead of magic.
Yeah.
So it had to have its own update. This was stuff that incorporated into things that are already there, making it very commonplace in feel so as to feel balanced as well.
Yeah. So this being the baby episode, I'm going to do my best to make sure that I do a good job. I know there's only 3 of you here. I appreciate the 3 of you for being here. Here's hoping that I do a good job and that this is something you guys want to continue. So, I didn't know they got rid of mystics.
Yeah, it was Unearthed Arcana for a bit, but they said it was too overpowered for the game. All right.
You ready to begin?
Do we want to wait the 2 minutes or go ahead and start?
I think we should go ahead and start. So if you guys need an estimated time on this game, it is being recorded, so if you need to go, that's fine, and you can come back and watch the rest of it later. The estimated time for the length of this game is around 3 hours. We might even be done before then, and I don't see this taking 2 sessions. This should only be a 1-session game.
Especially when she TPKs me.
That is not a goal. All right, but there are a lot of elements in here that I'm not used to, so you're going to see me have to stop, pause, move on quite a bit. Bear with me as I get used to this, and I'm going to need the Monster Manual and the DMG, just in case. And do you have all books that you need?
Do you want this? Just in case.
Where would I put it?
I don't know.
That's it. I've decided you guys don't actually get to see the game. You're on the other side of the DM screen. All right.
Ooh. What if that is the DM screen? Too much all at once. This.
Cool.
And everything else I think I have written down.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
An incredibly lucrative contract is offered by a ruler from another realm. In exchange for escorting Parker Van Horn, a psychotic and incredibly dangerous arcane criminal, from the realm's portal prison so he can stand trial for his actions. The party will be granted one item apiece from the kingdom's archive of magical artifacts, as well as 20,000 gold pieces. After agreeing to the contract, you will be teleported to the portal prison, which floats in the clouds high above the kingdom. So, we're not doing any backstory on this, we're just jumping right in. You and your party, for various reasons, have all agreed to take up this contract. Whether it is because you have been personally affected by Parker Van Horn, or because you are just aware of his terrible deeds, you all stand before the gaze of a mighty ruler, the Archduchess Philmonia Van Horn, her eyes peering down from above you as she sits atop a raised dais on the throne in the receiving hall of a massive palace. I'm glad you've all agreed to born enemy of the realm and, if I'm being honest, all of creation. The fact that he's my brother makes exacting the vengeance he deserves a proposition for me. He has killed hundreds, and his reign of terror must be brought to a close. But the people must see him stand trial. They must hear what he's done. Otherwise, they will call me a usurper, and my title will never be seen as legitimate. All you have to do is move him 100 feet. As you're brought to this floating prison, you notice that there are 4 floating large boulders, each with a turbine attached to it. Leading from each one is a giant chain anchored to this island that has a building built upon it. You can feel the pressure of the atmosphere as you're floating 5 miles above the ground. Let me get to the map. So, do you come by ship or do you agree to be teleported?
I've got no problem with magic. Teleportation will be fine.
The rest of your party agrees. You enter into the teleportation chamber. You arrive in a waiting room. You all step into a ring of arcane energy that crackles and vibrates, and a rush of radiant light erupts around you. And suddenly you're on a solid platform, its frosted windows overlooking an empty sky. You're floating nearly 5 miles above the surface. A grim-looking dwarven man wearing a glowing amulet greets you with an elaborate salute, flanked on either side by massive constructs, shield guardians, that stand roughly 7 foot tall. I'm Kenzie Ottenbaum, head of Guardian Legion in this sector. This is my prison. These are a few of my guards. Let's get moving. Kenzie leads you down a long hallway lined with cell doors, unless you do anything else.
Pleasure to meet you. Let's go.
The rest of your party's taking in the scenes around you, the sound of the whistling air, the chill of the air. You can feel it sits different in your lungs.
Back in the neck.
Kenzie leads you down a long hallway lined with cell doors, behind which, Kenzie explains, are swirling portals. The floor and the ceiling are glass, affording an incredible, if vertigo-inducing, view of the world below and a panoramic view of the sky above. This is the march you'll have to make with Van Horn. I suggest you take a minute to consider the architecture and your plan, as you've only got one shot at this. The Guardian Legion will be on hand to assist as we can. Many of these soldiers lost friends, family, to Parker's abject cruelty, and will be glad to see him meet his end. Some would be happy to watch you kill him right here, but the Archduchess has given the word, and her word is our command.
Right, we'll do what we got to get him where he needs to be.
Kenzie nods. I appreciate you all taking the contract, as you were not obligated to do this. 100 feet's gonna seem like an eternity. So what he means is this is the teleportation room that you're in. This is the hallway that you are currently walking down, and I'll show the rest of you. This is the map. They arrived here in the teleportation chamber, and this hallway right here is what they are currently walking down. All of the walls, all of the floors are made of glass. Imagine 5 miles up in the air. Nothing to catch you if you fall. Unless you say anything else, Kinsey begins pointing out the control room for the prison, stairs leading to a tower, and then stairs leading below. The stairs below leading to the sleeping chambers and rooms for the guards. He explains that there are both living guards of the Legion and then the constructs that the Archduchess has brought in. How do the rooms work? Your Goliath companion asks. Glad you ask. Each of these doors you pass by is a prison cell. This prison contains the most dangerous of magical criminals. Each room has been designed to be a pocket dimension. Each pocket dimension is designed specifically for the person contained within. Usually, it is the crime that haunts them the most, the one that landed them here, and they must replay each time it happened over and over again. Psychically being attacked by the prison guards, the echo wraiths we have. Fitting, but yet sometimes not enough. Each room is a pocket dimension of the material plane. Nowhere else.
So we're not gonna be traveling into like hell or the abyss or anything like that.
No, nothing like
Good
that.
to know. Good to know. Yeah, why would we go into any of these other rooms if they're after one bloke?
I'm just letting you know how the prison works.
Oh.
Why? Do you think you might end up here one day?
Well, I should think not.
And he walks on.
How about this guy?
Your companions are just looking around. Can I have their character sheets, please?
You certainly may.
Thank you.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
The mountain dwarf Komath?
Yeah, cool mouth.
Good design. I appreciate what they've done here.
All the magic just really makes my hair stand up.
Such a waste of good architecture on bad creatures. Perhaps, though, some good will come of what we do here today.
All right.
Yes, and hopefully some good songs as well, says your bard companion. So you are taken past the portal doors after giving you the detail.
Whew.
He stops at one of the doors. Should someone come out on the other side of one of these portals, he points, old Bunty in the control room can blast them without much fanfare. Or just collapse the glass, he points at the floor, and let them fall the 5 miles down. Whoa, Kylie says. You mean to tell me that at any point of time, the floor can drop? If need be, yes. It's not random. Uh-huh.
What if somebody were like, I don't know, knock over one of the shield guardians into the floor? Would that just shatter at that point?
Oh, the glass is far too tempered for that.
Good. See, it's far too tempered for that.
You see your Goliath companion breathe a breath of relief as you see that she was kind of doing a tippy-toe dance and just stand still. You are taken to the control room where you meet Nigel Bunty Buntrose. He is the one who runs the turbines, the control room, the prison cells, and what Kenzie was talking about is there is a defense system where he can blast prisoners from afar if they get out of their rooms.
Now, when we meet Nigel, what's he look like?
That's where I'm getting to. Like I said, I'm getting used to this.
She is intense. Sleep is for the weak. Good to have you, Azoth.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm getting to know the book.
Come in front of you. Boop.
Medium-sized human, cropped brown hair, in a uniform. You can tell that he hasn't been sleeping, his face etched with worry and lines across his face. He looks up. Oh, they're here. You're the ones here for Van Horn.
That's right, we're the cavalry. We're going to be taking them off your hands.
He looks back, and you see several different displays magically showing what's happening in each of the cells. I've got to admit, Van Horn doesn't seem very affected by his current circumstances. In fact, I think he's enjoying it.
Which one? Which one are we looking at?
He taps one of the visions, essentially, and it becomes larger, comes into focus. And you see him, what must be him, human, middle-aged, dark hair, slicked back. You can tell that he's still maintaining a grooming regimen, his facial hair nicely kept in place. He seems content as he sits cross-legged in what looks like a great hall, some kind of meeting room. Fires burning around him. And he's just sitting like he's meditating almost.
Can I try an insight check to see if he's actually enjoying it or if he's
Sure.
just... So we're going to do purple. That's an 18.
He seems very, very content.
I think we've got ourselves a right sick one.
Understatement of the year. Bunty says, "You know what he's done." He nervously glances back.
Cool, Matthew and Prue kind of clued me in on a couple things. But,
Do you really think, with how dynasties work, his sister's really going to bring him to justice?
what are you thinking she's going to do instead?
Tuck him away somewhere. Exile him. But kill him? Allow for proper retribution for what he's done to so many? No. No. Even if he's sentenced to life in prison, that's too good for him. If we don't kill him now, he's going to escape and do far worse.
We got this. We're going to do it. Don't worry. All right, gents. Ladies.
You know that they're not going to help you. He
What?
points at the Legion.
No, not them. Us.
Kinsey interjects. If the Archduchess demanded we throw him a party, we would. We are serving under her pleasure. We are her loyal servants. Bunty gestures. Does that build a lot of faith for the current circumstances?
Her orders are to get him to the trial. Our contract is to get him to the trial.
Enough, Kinsey says. Just tell them what they need to do and send them on their way. You're stalling. Fine, Bunty says. Each room has in it a teleportation portal. If you don't want to be attacked by the Echo Wraiths, you are going to need a certain item. He holds up an amulet. This will make it so that way not only can you travel through the teleportation portal, but you will not suffer from its terrible side effects. The portals are designed that if you travel through them, you suffer from a random issue, like blindness, deafness,
Dementia.
pain. The amulet helps subdue the side effects.
You getting all this down, Kylie?
Gods, I hope so. That's a lot. Well, you shouldn't have to worry about it too much. All you need to do is simply take him from his chamber, out the door, down the hallway to the teleportation chamber, using the amulet to take him where he needs to go. The portal will know. It's programmed. However, if you try to use the portal or take him without the amulet, the Echo Wraiths will also attack you. Make sure you have your amulets. Do not lose them.
Right. Don't lose our necklace.
Typically, Shield Guardians are the ones to do this, but unfortunately, due to circumstances I'm not allowed to tell you, he glares at Kinsey, they are not allowed to be the ones to escort him. He's pointing at the constructs and glaring at Kinsey.
It needs to be, what's the word? Fair and balanced. Can't have Her Majesty escorting her brother. It needs to be given something from the people that he's wronged. Am I incorrect?
I don't believe that any of this is fair and balanced, or we would just flood his room and fill it with electricity, says Bunty.
Have you seen the look on this bloke's face? You don't think that he would enjoy that?
I think arguing is wasting time.
You're right, Kinsey. Thanks. Bunsey. Amulets.
He hands the amulets to each of you. And you are taken to the first chamber. So, showing you the map. So you were here.
Right.
You are now taken down the hall. So, showing you guys. He went up here to talk to Bunty, and he is now over here at the end of the hall going into one of the prison chambers. So, getting to that page, because I have a page for everything, supposedly.
So So while she's looking for that,
Thank you.
we've got my character, whose name has not been said,
Sorry.
but that's fine. His name is Kaizen Drow, and he's dressed very much like a swashbuckler type, with the leather vest, the poofy shirt, rapier at his side. He's got a wide brim hat. There is a very peculiar jewel that's in the hilt on his sword. Then you've got Cool Math Dark Armor, who is a dwarf, full plate armor like dwarf, shield and warhammer. Then we have Pruora Iren's daughter. She is a Goliath, and she wields a great sword wearing half plates. And our little Kylie is a halfling bard holding a mandolin, a short sword on her hip, and let's see, obviously a bard.
Okay. So you go through the doorway and you are standing in a community meeting hall. The smooth paved stones, benches, wood frames must have once been beautiful in this recreation of this place. Instead, the pews are charred and burned, and you notice a large stone wall out of place behind Parker as he sits in the middle between the two sets of pews, looking like he's meditating, just sitting on the stone as things burn around him. You see floating off to the sides these echo wraiths, shroud in shadow, faceless beings like smoke, hovering and waiting. You hear muffled screaming from behind the stone wall, and other than that, Parker sitting calm, deep breathing, smile slightly etched on his face.
Slowly move around him to the left. Hello, Parker.
His eyes snap open.
Vacation's over.
Stands up.
Time to go.
We're supposed to put one of the amulets on him.
Right. Prue, would you be so kind?
Right. Runs over, puts the amulet on. Parker has a very sarcastic, and the portal you're supposed to use lights up a pillar leading from floor to ceiling, a shimmering blue light.
Right. In we go.
As you approach it and you step in, the shimmer fades and stops working.
Is it that? I don't think that's what's supposed to happen.
Roll an insight.
Ooh.
Or no, perception for me.
Ooh, rough. 10.
That's enough.
Oh, that's good.
Because there's others standing around you. You notice that the amulets on their chest begin to glow slightly.
Oh, wait. Oh, look at mine.
Is it supposed to do this?
Bunty!
You see Parker. A soft voice, but one you recognize. I'm truly sorry for this, but I can't let you take him, and so I can't let you leave. He's a villain, and must be destroyed. And since his sister doesn't have the will to do it, I'm afraid it's come to me. I've shut down the prison. In a few hours, the entire system will collapse. I'm not certain what will happen then, but I suspect it will be mind-splittingly painful. And I'm so sorry for that.
Bunty?
But it's what he deserves. I'm sorry you're caught up in this now, but you understand. Collateral damage.
You do this and you're no better than him? Hello? Is this thing on? Bugger.
What do we do now?
Well, remember how he told us that when we step through the portals without the amulets,
The floor begins to rumble.
all the things that are bad will start taking place.
Parker begins full-on laughing.
Look, like he's going to start experiencing them.
Very interesting, says Parker. Guess I'll have company when the debt is to be collected. Very exciting. Unless, of course, you're not ready to die.
Well, of course not. I'm going to get my coin.
Maybe we could work together. You help me, I help you. We can all get out of this alive.
Well, alive is the goal, so... Yeah, alright.
I was not expecting that. Your dwarf companion. Hold on now. He's a villain.
Well, of course he's a villain, but we don't get paid if we take him in dead. We've got to get him there alive.
I don't think you seem to understand, says Parker. I help you escape. You help me escape.
Oh. So yeah, you weren't very clear on that point, but I don't think we have that much time.
Exactly. In other words, I help you get out of here. You will not impede me leaving.
Yeah, sure.
Really?
Yeah.
You feel a hand grip your shoulder.
That one's mine. There
Right,
we go.
they're over here.
Is it a big hand?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know I can't let that happen. You know why I'm here. She says.
Hey, can I talk? Just you.
We don't have much time.
Right, you stay. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Oh, I won't go anywhere, says Parker. She leans down.
You know I'm here for you, right? I'm here to help you do whatever you
You're gonna need to speak up.
I'm here to help you do whatever you can to be able to get this done. Right? Get him where he needs to be.
I'm here so he faces justice.
Right. That. I'm totally here for that. I'm also here for not dying. So, we help him get out. Unfortunately, he's not offering me any money. So...
What if we just head to the teleportation chamber anyway?
You want to knock him out? It'd be easier to carry him that way. He'd still be alive.
We'll see.
Alright. Alright, Parker. Good man. Let's go.
So, he, waits for you to come back. I'm guessing they didn't tell you, did they?
Which part?
About this prison.
Oh, we We got enough information about it, yeah.
Oh, right. Beautiful design, correct?
Yeah.
You know why?
With the wraiths and the floor and the guardians and the necklaces that no longer work. So we're going to be going through teleportation and going blind and deaf and incinerated and a few other things. Sure, yeah. We got it all.
Before I went insane, I designed this prison. This is my creation.
Kindly make sure you write that down.
Absolutely. So, I'm sure you must understand. That vibration you felt? That was the turbines.
Are we plummeting yet?
Not yet.
Oh, good. So get walking.
But I'm sure you must understand how imperative it is to keep me alive and well, because I know how to navigate this prison.
Right. That's why I convinced my buds here.
You're obnoxiously agreeable, he says.
I hear that a lot.
He does, the bard says. Well, if it kills us, it'll only be a certain few, I'm sure. So, how are we supposed to get through everywhere? We should still be able to activate the portals. It's just the original portal leading to the destination we needed to is currently out.
Right. So, the other portal, would that be the way we came in, over there?
We should be able to get this one to work.
Ah. What are you going to do? Scratch some lines in it?
Try stepping in it again.
Right. Everybody out. And everybody, stay close to Kulma. And yeah, back out. Step forward.
Nothing happens. Oh, he says.
What?
You turn and you see the echo wraiths coming right at you.
Hey, cool math.
Hmm?
We got company.
Right.
Yoink.
He's now running the NPCs. What do you guys think so far? First combat of the evening.
There you go. Yuck.
Do you want me to roll their initiative, or do you want to do it?
I can do it.
Okay.
So mine is a grand 9.
A 9?
Yep. 9. For those of you out there.
10 for them.
All right. For Le Bard, she got a 13.
Are you going to write down all their initiatives?
Yeah.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
Kylie got a 13. Wraith's got a 10, you said?
Mm-hmm.
That is Prue. She got a 21. And Kumoth.
I don't know.
That's a lie. Yeah, she got 20.
I don't know what donate things are on here. I'm still getting to know Twitch, so I might not have it on. Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Exy.
Oh, Sweet Tea Games is here. Hi. Yeah, I'll if you don't mind interrupting the flow of things.
Pause.
One of the things that I was talking about earlier was my goal is not to become a popular DM or anything. I just know that some of you asked me to start doing more stuff like this, and I'm excited to push myself to do all of this, so thank you. If it ends up growing and becoming something, fantastic, but that's not my intent. I just want to be here for you guys and entertain. So thank you all for being here. All right. So
the order I have is Prue the Goliath, followed by Kylie the Bard, followed by the Wraiths,
okay.
followed by Kaizen, and then Coolmouth.
So you are in this on fire chamber. By the way, the wall that you heard screaming has dissipated, and you see that it was a replay of him walling up citizens into a wall of stone repeatedly over and over again. And coming towards you, now that all of that has faded, they are now echo wraiths moving towards you, and there are 6 of them.
There are 6. Gross.
So, what is your first character going to do?
So, how far away are they?
That is a good question. They're only 20 feet away from you. It's
Okay.
not that huge of a room.
So she takes and moves.
Let me find it real quick while you're describing.
She moves 10 feet forward. So she's still within 10 feet of the dwarf. And she will use her action to ready an attack against the first wraith that comes within range.
Okay.
And then when that happens, she will use her reaction to attack it.
This is the setup.
Oh, that's a
This
church.
This is where it's a meeting hall.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the wall of stone kept coming up and trapping the people into the wall.
Gotcha.
These are the pews that were all on fire, and he was sitting right here.
All
I'm
right.
going to show all of you in just a second. The portal you guys came in was right here. So the echo wraiths came from here and were traveling towards you while you were talking.
Is that also where we were trying to leave?
Yeah.
Was that one? Okay.
Yeah. There's no exit door. There's
Right.
only a
It's
portal.
just the portals.
So showing you guys,
Uh-oh.
this is the meeting hall. Over here is where the portal is. Over here is where the wall of stone kept coming up, trapping the people within it. Parker was sitting right here. So while they were all talking over here trying to get the portal to work, the echo wraiths had traveled towards them.
Backtracking as well. Prue uses a great axe, not a great sword.
Okay.
Small detail.
So, holding turn, you said?
She's holding her turn, which goes to Kylie, who strums her mandolin
Okay.
and says, "Hey, gas bag, you should pull yourself together." Vicious mockery.
Saving roll for that?
Saving throw, wisdom.
Let
saving
me
throw.
get back to... They have a specific write-up in this book that I
Yeah.
have to get to. And right there. What was it again? I'm sorry.
Wisdom.
So 16.
16 does not make it.
Wow.
17 is the DC.
By 1.
It does 4 points of psychic damage to the thing, and it
That's-
is at disadvantage on its next attack. Unless it's immune to psychic.
It is not. All right. So it's turn. 2 of them have made it up. On this map, will you please show me where each of you are placed?
So if we were back to this portal, we would be like right here. Prue would have stepped here.
So Prue's the closest.
Yep. And then Coolmoth, myself, Parker, Kylie.
Okay. So they're going to attack Prue. Two
All right,
of
she
them
gets her attack first.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for saying good luck.
And she rolls a natural 1.
Okay.
So
Swing and a miss. That's okay. So while she swings and misses, they rear back and go for their attack.
All right.
They attack using a slam attack. So they're going to, after she misses, come in and batter her. What's her AC?
Her AC is 20.
So that's a miss. That hits.
Okay.
And that is 9 damage.
Oof.
Oh, it's not over. It's going to get worse. That's a miss. And that's a miss. She also takes 6 psychic damage.
Oof.
You hear your companion yell out. Whose turn is it now?
That brings it to my turn, and they're coming out of a flaming area, but it's a recreation, so it may not be actual flames.
The flames have died down because the illusion came from the echo wraiths.
So, and there's 2 of them or 4 of them?
There are 6 in total, but there
6 in
are
total.
2 who are currently in attacking
All right.
position.
So on the map, I'm going to come around this way on this side of Prue to attack that one.
I'm sorry we're not able to show you all the map stuff.
And still stay within 10 feet of him. So, first things first, I am going to make my attack with my rapier, which is 20 to hit.
That hits.
Doing 5 points of damage. And then I am going to sword burst. So they need to make
Will you hand me a pencil, please?
reflex save. Yeah.
Thank you so much. A reflex save, you said?
Yeah. If I'm within the space to hit 2 of them, I would have moved there.
$14.
That does not make it. Each of them take 10 points of slashing damage.
They have resistance.
It's magical, if that means anything. Magical slashing. If not, that's fine too.
Okay, so 10 it is.
All right.
And that's all of them that took damage?
2 of them. I would only be able to reach 2 of them.
Okay. And last, but certainly not least.
Right. Forward steps the paladin beside the Goliath. We're just going to hammer it. And that is natural 1 on the first strike. Following his buddy here. And that is 19 to hit.
That
with
hits.
The second strike. All right, let's see what these things are made of. So that's 7 points of damage.
I need him
Magical.
to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Magical sword.
How much damage was that?
7.
And which one was he damaging?
It was 1 on this side.
Okay, so
Yeah.
was it one that your character damaged?
No, it wasn't
Okay.
one of them.
Okay.
His save is 11.
He takes half the damage
Ooh,
as it is reflected back onto him,
so he takes 3.
and he sees the attack from its point of view, having to deal with that feeling as well.
That's rough.
All right, second round.
That brings it back to Prue, who gets her 2 full attacks this round. Wait. That's going to put her right here. She's going to use it's called Giant Might
Okay.
to increase her size
Okay.
and deal extra damage when she hits with this great axe.
Okay.
And the first roll, I wish I could have kept that one.
I'm sorry, I didn't see anything. Try it again.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's a natural 20.
I do that as a DM, by the way. If you roll a 1 or something low, I'll say, oh, I didn't see that. What did you roll?
Well, I rolled a 17 first.
Hold on. And if that happens, that's my way of saying re-roll it. I don't know why.
3, 6, 4 is 10.
And this is the same one she attacked before?
Yeah, but she missed. It's the one that Kaizen attacked. Yeah.
Right.
That's 14 points of damage on the crit. She makes a will save, a wisdom
Hold on
save.
1 second.
Will save is for those of you, Pathfinder, and I still say it.
1
1 what?
for the save.
No, I was asking, does she need to make a wisdom save?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought you were saying they needed to. I was
No.
like, that's weird.
No, she just hits really hard. All right. Wisdom 8.
So she takes half the damage.
All right, and that's the first attack. Second attack is 20 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
It's a dirty 20. Doing 8 points of damage. And her wisdom save.
It's a reaction, so it's only the once.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
And you said that was 8 damage?
Yeah, that was 8 damage.
Okay. Cat's back there meowing. And their turn.
Kylie's turn.
Kylie's turn. Right. Sorry.
That's fine. She's going to, as her action, strum her mandolin, and a circle of rocks that are on fire appear around her head. And she is going to melt minute meteors
Okay.
toward the center of a couple of them twice.
Okay.
All right. So her first roll is... This is my third natural one. And the other one is...
It's to make up for all those natural 20s you got during the Bliska streams.
It's because I'm playing. When I'm a DM, it's another story. That is 25 hits.
That hits.
All right. And that is 2 dice 6. 6. 12 points of fire damage to that one and the one next to it.
Okay.
And as her bonus... Nope, she can't do that. All right.
Their turn. Another one flies at your character.
Yipe.
And the two keep attacking. So that one rolls a natural 20 on you.
Actually, because I'm standing next to Prue... Nope, that's something else. Never mind. Wait, nope. During... Yeah, no. That's it.
Okay.
It hits me.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Cool Math has an ability, but he's not next to me.
And that one misses. So that is 20 damage.
Oof.
And then 3 psychic. And there is no saving throw on the psychic damage.
Nope.
Then your companions are being attacked.
All right.
That one rolls a 24 on Prue.
It rolls at disadvantage this round.
Oh, okay. So
Cool Math
24
puts his shield
again.
away. She still gets hit.
And that one misses her on a 9 for the second attack.
Okay.
And then Cool Math is the one that's up there as well.
Yep.
So he's getting attacked. That's a miss. And that is also a miss.
All right. how much damage does Prue take?
That's what I'm working on. That is 7 damage, and then 12 psychic.
Oof.
So it flies in, she swings, hit, the shadow creature reels back, a screech echoing off the stone walls, and it comes in and just slams her.
Ooh.
The second one missing. Your
bring it to-
dwarvish companion has a shield, right?
Yep.
And he manages to put it in the way. The echoing sounds of the hits ringing off the shield, making it the
His
next
turn.
person's turn.
Making it my turn, actually.
And you had one come at you,
Yep.
so
I will we're gonna slash, we're gonna stab at him. Which is 24.
that hits.
Doing 12 points of damage.
I need you to roll a wisdom save.
Uh, 15.
You take half the damage.
Oof. All right. I will then shoot at one of them with a firebolt. Not the one near me, though. That's a natural 19, total of 28.
That hits.
Three points of damage. And
I'm going to step in as the DM and enact our house rule of 10 over being a light crit, what you call it,
the heavy hits.
the heavy hits. I need you to go ahead
Roll
and
an extra die.
roll it. Yeah.
That is another 3.
Okay.
And then for my bonus action...
Would you like to explain to our audience?
All right, so we have a house rule that if we'll say the AC is 15 and you roll 25 or more, it is a heavy hit. It's not as devastating as a critical hit, but you get an extra die of damage, whatever the largest die is.
Because 10 over the AC is 10 plus over the AC is a good bit, so rewarding that. All right. And is that the start of a new round?
Then it's Cool Matt's turn.
All right.
And he is going to strike. That's 2 natural ones for him. And his second attack is a natural 17 for a total of 27.
That also gets the extra die.
Okay.
But he also needs to roll a wisdom save.
Needs to make a wisdom save. All right. So the hit is 5, 11. The extra die is 12, 13 total. 15 total, sorry. Cool Math gets extra radiant damage. All right. And then his wisdom save is 26.
He takes none. Will you let the cat in?
1 cat coming right up. And that would start the next round.
All right. Guys enjoying it still?
You coming? Yeah, I hear you.
I'm bad at combat description, so I'm trying to get better at it. All right.
All right.
So, whose turn?
That brings it to Prue.
All right, Prue.
Prue, do something, lady. All right. She is going to enact her Frost Rune, which gives her +2 to strength-related stuff. I think it's also attack and damage. I'm checking that for sure.
Hi, Revan. Hey. Come here, baby.
And she is going to
Come say
attack.
hi.
That was her bonus action. Her action will be to attack once. And that is 13 to hit.
That does not hit.
Yeah.
Something fell.
Was it your bookmark again?
I don't know. Oh well. And
the second one's a natural one.
all right. So how much damage did you do?
None. All right. For Kylie's bonus action.
So the Echo Wraith manages to dart in between each of her blows and continues its assault at Prue, making it the bard's turn.
For her action, she's going to step closer to Kaizen and strum her mandolin, which she uses to cast Cure Wounds at level 3. 3, 7, and 6.
Okay.
Plus 5, 13. Before you fall, 13, and then 5 is 18 hit points back from him. And then she's going to actually cast Healing Word on Prue, which does 9 points back to Prue.
All right. Does that make it their turn?
That will make it their turn.
That's a miss both times. Miss again. You are very lucky. All right.
Bringing it to my turn. Why, I oughta. This has been really stressful. So we're going to enact Blade Song, which I should have done that to begin with, which will allow me to strike. That is 18 plus 8 is 26.
That hits, and that is exactly 10 above its AC.
Ooh, nice. Alright, so that does 8, 12, 19 points of damage, wisdom save. Ah, that's cocked. Alright. So close to a natural 20. 5, 9, that's 21.
That makes it. How much damage was it?
19.
Oof. That's fantastic.
And then for the second attack, we're going to cast Shocking Grasp, which sounds pretty impressive. That is 27.
That hits.
Doing 22 points of lightning damage.
All right. And whose turn is that then?
Oh, that would be Coolmouth's turn. He is going to... Are any of these things looking like they're spraying shadows or anything?
Every time they get hit, you notice that they're at a point where they're lurching back and then coming forward, and every time their movements become jerkier and shakier, as if the stability isn't quite there like it used to be.
His first hit's a 26.
That hits.
Second attack is a 17.
The 26 gets the extra die.
Okay. That's 2, 6, 12 physical, and 1 radiant.
That one dissipates.
So he shifts to the next one. hammers it for 10 physical and 8 radiant.
He needs to roll his wisdom.
1 wisdom save coming up. And that is 11.
So the sensation of seeing one of these things dissipate into nothingness is quickly replaced by the pain of feeling as though he just got hit in the face as well.
Oof.
Starting a new round, correct?
That is starting the new round.
All right.
Prue! Do something. So there's 5 left.
Yes.
Okay. That is 12 to hit,
No.
followed by 27 to hit.
So you get the extra die.
Okay. This one. Doing 12 plus 4. 22 points of damage total.
Oh, that one dissipates.
Which means it does not get a reaction, correct?
No, you don't have to roll for that.
And that was her 1 successful attack, moving it to Kylie. Kylie's going to move over, and for her action, cast what people view as the most useless cantrip, True Strike, on Coolmouth.
Okay.
And then she's going to use 2 of the floating meteors, rolling 27 to hit. I lied. 25 to hit.
That hits, but does not get the extra die.
Fair enough. And the second one is 21 to hit.
Both hit.
Awesome. First one does 9 points of damage to 2 of them, and the other one does 3 points of damage to 2 of them. She have to make 2 wisdom.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
And what was the second amount of damage?
3.
Okay. All right. And what?
Does she need to make 2 wisdom saves?
Just 1.
Just 1. That makes her wisdom save 19.
That makes it. Woo! All right. And I'm doing that just to simplify things. Making it their turn. One of them flies through a wall, and another one goes to fly through Prue, and she takes 5 damage.
Oof. Are there any,
Saving throws for that?
I was going to say, reactions to hit them if they're leaving? Not the one flying through her, because that's not.
It's force damage, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no. Sorry, I misread that. It flies through her, which just kind of freaks her out, but does not deal damage.
Okay.
Another one is headed towards a wall, if you want to roll your attack on that.
All right. Who's in range?
Let's see. You're all here, and it's headed that way. So
it'd be Prue, myself, and Coolmouth. Okay.
Yes.
All the combatants lined in a row. All right. So we got Prue with a natural 20.
Okay.
Coolmouth with a 17, and myself with a 19.
That all hits.
All right. So Prue does 4, 9, 17 damage. Coolmouth does 12 damage. And me with my measly 12 damage.
And it flies through the wall.
Dang it.
That leaves 2 of them. And 1 hits Prue, doing 5 damage.
5 damage to Prue.
This combat is almost over.
All right. Bringing it to Prue's turn. Riding the high off of that critical hit that she just got.
Yeah.
She'll sink into the next one with a 24 to hit,
Excuse me.
followed up with a 20 to hit.
Those both hit.
First hit is 17. 17. And the second hit is 19.
And that one dissipates as well,
Whew.
leaving 1 more in this room.
And that brings it to Kylie's turn, who's going to start off with a couple of meteors from her bonus action. First one is a 15
Will
to
you
hit.
please open that door
16.
so
16
that
to
way
hit.
she can get out? Or open the closet. Sorry, the cat's back there tearing at the door and I can hear pieces of wood being pulled.
She's ridiculous.
She is. She's precious.
All right. So 16 and 17 to hit.
The 17 hits. You said 15 and 17?
16 and 17.
16 and 17.
Because it was a 9 plus 7.
That hits.
Okay. And just get it all in there. Nice. That's 4, 8, 12, 13 damage.
And that one dissipates as well. Well done. And as the last one fades into the air, you hear a crackling sound and a light blue shimmer emerges where the portal stands.
Oi, oi!
So, Kinsey says, Kylie, thank you. Every time we clear a room, the portal reemerges?
It definitely seems that way. I think that the
Hmm.
wraith thingies are causing it to short circuit in an after fashion.
Well, that makes this all the more important to finish quickly. Let's get him down that hall.
Aye, those hurt. Who is
Trying
hurt
to-
the most? Besides me.
Huh?
I said, who is
Oh.
hurt the most besides me? That'd be Prue. 10, 20.
What do you guys think so far?
Cool Mouth slaps Prue. Heals her for 35.
That's friendship right there.
So she is only missing 5 hit points right now. That was rough.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh my gosh, get to the page already.
What page do you need? What creature are you looking for? Don't hurt me.
I'm actually having a hard time finding them. How did I miss that?
I have those feels.
How to make
Prue
your
does shrink back down.
how to make your DM feel inept. All right, there we go. It was the next page over. Okay. They like Azoth likes the heavy hit rule. It definitely helps make things feel more epic, and it helps your hero feel more heroic, which is really nice. So, switching between
Long pause. I was catching up on notes.
Oh. All right. As you step through the portal, there is a blinding blue light. Unfortunately, the blindingness is quite literal,
Ooh.
as you are temporarily blinded for the next 2 rounds. As your eyes slowly acclimate, there is a beautiful warm golden glow of sunset, cool breeze bringing it to be a false scent, but crisp fall leaves. And you see a beautiful field with wooden fences, old, rotting rivers, streams babbling off to the side. And this view would probably be far more beautiful if you weren't standing on the sky, as you realize everything is upside down.
This is not the way we came in.
Yes, Parker says, certainly not the room of holding. Well, I'm guessing that means Bunty has,
He's got it all scrambled.
Yes, that is the simplistic way of putting it. Well, what are we supposed to do?
You designed this place. Do you know where the next portal is?
He points down at what looks like should be a well. It's a stone square, not quite a dais, it's not that tall, but in the middle of this grass is this little raised up stone platform.
Are you pointing down or are you pointing up?
I'm pointing at that. Another feature here are the trees. The beautiful trees that are stretching up towards the sky. And you also realize that they're literally stretching at you as you are now, it seems to be under attack.
Ah! Prue, lower your axe.
She lowers it down. The tree moves towards you, and you see a dryad coming at you with a club.
Ah! What? We don't mean on.
You fool! Yells Parker. It's the shape the echo wraiths have taken.
Oh, right.
And they get a 20 for their initiative.
Natural or dirty?
Dirty. Dirty 20.
All right. I go on a 14. Kylie goes on an 8. Stop that. Prue's on a 17. Cool Math on a 14.
I keep hearing cool math, and I keep thinking cool math games. And I keep having to remind myself that's not what you're saying.
RandomNameGenerators.com, folks.
Oh, but this book actually also has random name generator as well.
Oh, nice.
So, all right, so they go first, I'm guessing?
Looks like.
So the first one, moving up through the branches, comes up and slams at you with her shillelagh. And that is an 18 to hit.
Attacking me personally?
Yes.
Okay, so as a reaction, I will cast Shield. Which
Okay.
puts my AC at a million. 23.
You die from being too awesome. 23? Okay.
23.
So she misses, and the other two are making their way over here. Whose turn is next?
That would be Prue.
All right.
We're going to see what happens with just a couple strikes as she steps forward and axe. That ain't it. That is 10, and that's a natural 1. So they are very evasive of a large axe.
So as they're chopping, it's almost as though she's swimming through the bark and just to the side and then to the other side. Whose turn is next?
That brings us to Kulmoth, who will try the other side before the Dryads get up here. That's better on 25.
That gets the heavy hit.
Okay. And the second one is 19.
That also hits.
All right. Kulmoth does 11. So 17 points of physical damage and 7 points of radiant damage
So
on that first hit.
what's the first character's name that just attacked?
Prue.
So as Prue swings and misses and the Dryad with a wicked grin moves out of the way, Kulmoth
Hammer.
comes down with a hammer and you see the lifeless body of the Dryad collapse out of the branch and hit the ground. Meaning the other two are on their way.
Okay. And then, if that's the case, with Kylie next. Obviously, their bark is worse than their bite. Vicious mockery on the first one as it's coming up. Wisdom save.
I'm going to give you 5 bonus XP for her for that. That is 11.
That is a fail. It takes 6 points of psychic damage, and its next attack is at disadvantage.
Okay. And that leaves it with the rest of your group's turn. Are they holding their action?
That is her action. For her bonus action, she launches the 2 fireballs.
Good idea.
That is 19 to hit.
That hits.
And 19 to hit.
That hits. Hitting 2 separately or the same one?
If they're close enough, it kind of launches in the middle, so it catches both of them. If not, that is 9 for the first hit and 4 for the second hit.
I know how to do math. And how much was the second one?
It was 4.
Okay. Making it their turn again?
Bringing it back to my turn.
Okay. What do you do?
I am going to cast a simple firebolt. I just make a shape with my sword, and out of the tip goes pew,
Goes pew.
and that is 16 to hit.
That hits.
And that is 12 damage of fire.
Okay. Bringing it back to their turn. They both come up, same style, where the branch snakes upward towards you and they are seemingly swimming through it, their arms extended, coming up to strike at you guys. Prue is closest, so she's being attacked first.
That one has disadvantage.
Oh, correct. So 11 to hit.
Nope.
And
Well, I'll wait. Soft shoe. Good berry juice.
all right. And that one's attacking Kulmoth
Yep.
for 12 to hit.
That does not hit.
Hi! All right, making it their turn.
All right. That is Prue first. Getting a little bit angry because she made her weapon. It needs to be doing better. That's 25 to hit.
That is a heavy hit.
One heavy hit heard. She does not have the extra damage from being large. That is 12 damage on the first hit.
So she cuts that branch, sending the dryad falling to the ground.
And then shifts over to the next one. And that one is 15 damage.
All I can see right now is the fight in Bloodlust against the one that blends into the trees.
Yeah, Caroline.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Making it Coolmouth's turn.
Yes, Coolmouth's turn.
So the one that's left gets hit and screeches.
That's 15 to hit.
That hits.
Oh. Doing 4, 10 physical damage and 5 radiant damage.
And as she screeches, catches her in the face, and the limb recedes as she limply hangs out of the branch. And
Sword back toward our ward.
you take a point of damage as you hit the ground.
Oh, ow.
And you see the portal lit lit up.
Scramble back to my feet, looking at Parker, making sure he's not trying to escape. All right then, moving right along. Whew. I need to write down one. I'm gonna do that.
All right. This is going to be an adventure. Like it hasn't been already. We're going to take a quick momentary break. I'm going to use the restroom if you would like to chat with the audience.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. And then we'll switch out when we go back.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Good to know. Thank you for the update. We will make sure that it is Dungeons and Dragons next time. The problem with the comment of nature attacking, you definitely wonder that, especially since it's all illusion, and who wants to make you think you're the bad guy. What else we got in here? Gotcha. Official one is Dungeons and Dragons. Sweet Tea Games. All right. Any questions so far? Character questions. Honestly, because of who I am, have like mental pages upon pages of backstory that we're not even going to get into tonight, which I could tell you here if you're interested, but all right, so we are currently transporting a very horrendous villain from his prison cell. And while we are transporting him, the guy who's in charge of the prison, which is flying and magic.
The guy who's in charge at the control room.
Yeah. Said, nope, he's got to die, and you're all going to die with him because I can't risk him getting out.
Yep.
And so now, instead of just going back and traveling 100 feet to get this guy to his trial, we have to fight individual rooms of stuff to teleport from room to room in order to get back, and then probably have to deal with the warden.
Now that you know what's going on, what do you think of the concept?
This is a lot different than what I had in my head, and that is okay.
Are you enjoying it though?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the whole concept was
Show the book real quick.
all you have to do is transport the prisoner 100 feet, and then everything goes wrong. So, I'm using this book tonight, and it's a lot of fun so far, I think. I hope. Like I said, I'm a little
Switch out. I'll be right back.
nervous. I've never done a game using a module live stream before. I'm usually homebrewing my campaigns, so I hope I'm doing well. But the other thing is the prisoner, it turns out, is the brother of the Archduchess, who says, I want to put my brother on trial. He needs to be taken in for justice, and the people need to see I'm not just usurping his throne, I'm doing things the proper way. The control room guy, Bunty, is like, no, that's her brother. She's not going to do what's right. He deserves to be executed right now, and if they're not willing to do it, I'm willing to take out everyone to make sure he's punished. So that's where we're at. Yeah, I just, you know how it is when you're used to DMing just for your people, you're not having to worry about making sure that everyone else understands what's going on. You and your party have like your own language. They know what you're trying to say. I'm having to remind myself I have to properly explain and detail things for you guys. So I am working on that. I also don't do a ton of heavy combat. So the fact that this is RP light right now is also very different for me. So it's a balancing act. So I hope I'm doing a good job. Because if you guys are enjoying this, I will definitely do this more often. And I know that you just like gaming, so. All right.
Nerds.
These are actually really good. If you guys haven't tried the D&D nerd clusters, it's essentially cut up bits of nerd rope, which I already love. So, all right. Going on ahead and prepping.
All right then. On to the next one.
So, what exactly is going on? Your bard says.
Oh. Our boy Nigel out there. He's
Yeah.
ruined everything. So it's gone from 100 feet to 100 miles, basically.
We're having to teleport room to room, it appears.
Right.
Oh, great. Fun.
What kind of word would rhyme with that?
And the dwarf covers her mouth. I don't know about you, but this is worth more than 20,000 gold.
Oh, right. 20,000 is just a contract. We're going to talk about hazard pay.
It's a guideline. Are you quite done? Parker says.
I'm waiting on you, Twinkle Toes.
Again, you enter into the blue, shimmering spiral that is the portal. The sensation hits you. Your body aches. You feel the crackling under your skin, muscles screaming. Imagine the worst muscle cramp you've had and stretch it across your entire body. Everything goes dim. You are in what again must have been a beautiful, rich tavern. The polished woods, of various types, some deep red, others the light brown, warm and inviting, sconces lining the wall with torches once lit, the tavern bar, goblets nearby, tables overturned, and a light emanating, glowing throughout, coming from behind the bar. You realize that the reason the light is emanating the way that it is because this chamber is entirely full of water. Oh, and also, you're a ferret for the next 2 rounds. Well played. You feel a ping in your brain. Well, it seems he's flooded the entire system. Might be overloaded. This is magical water, but you can still drown in it. He gestures to the back of the bar.
Is he also a ferret?
Yes, you are all ferrets.
I can tell by his smarmy ferret face. who he is.
Smarmy McFerret face. I need that now. Roll a perception check, please.
Ooh. That is a 24.
You're not alone in here. One of the tables begins rolling as something hit it, and it begins traveling through the room.
Squeak, 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 squeak.
You all begin swimming.
Plunk.
And through the murkiness of the water, you see a silhouette as a giant centipede comes swimming towards you.
Nope, 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 nope.
Initiative.
I tried a fire breathe as a ferret. Alright.
It rolled a
Fer-
10.
Ferrets have a dexterity of 12, maybe? So that gives me a 7. Alright. Prue still gets advantage.
That's good.
So she goes on a 13. Cool Math also goes on a 13. Kylie goes on a 6.
Alright, so you have a giant swimming centipede headed towards ferrets that are desperately doing this towards behind the bar. Making it not their turn first.
Making it our turn?
Mm-hmm.
Swim!
Because they got a 10.
Swim. Action. Cool Math is going to be dragging Parker
Okay.
toward the portal area
Okay.
and waiting just at the edge for everybody else to get there. Prue would follow that, and when she gets there, her action is to ready her action for the centipede so she can bite it. And then it's the centipede's turn.
So who would be closest to the centipede then, since they're swimming away?
Either me or Kylie.
So it bites at you.
Okay.
And what is your AC underwater? Like this?
As a ferret,
Yes, as a ferret.
probably 14.
14, so you get bit.
I am the only shadow-covered
I
ferret.
need you to roll a constitution save, please.
Oof.
And you take 6 points of damage.
Constitution 2, 6. Natural 20.
Fantastic. I also need all of you to roll an athletics check for your swimming.
I roll a 15.
I don't like underwater levels, by the way, so when I found out this was one of the things, I was like, oh no.
Let's see. Prue and
That
two
one came out
warriors.
as a clump. Clumpy nerd.
Prue gets a natural 20. Kylie gets like a 14. Coolmouth gets a dirty 20.
So you are all doing your best ferret swim.
Is this thing holding me?
No, it does not hold you. What was your constitution save?
Natural 20.
Oh, right. You're amazing. Okay.
So for our turns, Kylie and I will disengage and swim like a giant centipede is swimming after us.
Roll your athletics check.
Mine is...
So are you moving double speed then?
No. We're
Oh, you
moving
can't because...
regular speed because we're disengaging. Mine is a 5. Hers is an 8.
Do you mind if I give a description for you?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so you two close your eyes and you're with the squeak. And when you open your eyes, you realize you're swimming in circles. Not getting very far. All right.
Very unchild-friendly words come out of a ferret.
Starting the round again. Making it Prue's turn.
Prue will swim forward to protect our escape
Okay.
and bite at a centipede. Since this is the last round before we transform back, her bite is 17 to hit.
That hits.
She does like 1 point of damage.
Dude, you got weasels on your face.
Coolmouth is going to wait there,
Okay.
holding Parker.
And how much damage did she do?
Like 1 point of damage.
Okay. Making it its turn.
Yep.
It's, of course, attacking her. That is 18 to hit. I need her to roll a Constitution save, please. And she takes 3 damage.
Oof. Her total Constitution save is not on that page. Is 9. 9!
Oof. So she
Because she's a
takes
ferret.
9 poison damage.
Oof. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was still track. Normally speaking, she has resistance to poison damage and poison effect, but she's a ferret.
She's a ferret.
So, yeah. All right. Making it our turn. Athletics checks for you. Mine is a 3. Hers is a 7. And the round ends. Do we poof back to ourselves?
Yes.
Cool.
There's that crackling sensation under your skin and a sense of relief as you are in your own body. Starting the round over with Prue.
She's not even going to use her axe.
She's a Goliath, by the way.
Is she able to touch floor here now that she's a person?
Yes.
So,
Of course, she's in water, so she doesn't have any...
just attacking, that is
Real
17
ground.
to hit.
That hits.
And the second one is 18 to hit. And she does 5 damage each time as she just punches the thing.
So, there's a fun story about a millipede that was in an apartment. This millipede, big sucker, comes walking out, and I had one of those really thick gift wrap tubes, and I looked at it and went, bink! And I didn't touch it that hard. I wasn't even trying to kill it. And this cardboard tube was heavier than I planned, so gravity made it go, and this millipede went all over the place. That is currently what happens underwater as chunks of giant centipede start floating in the mixture you are holding your breath in, and another one comes out from behind a table.
And then as her movement, she will be backing up.
Okay.
Just close enough to protect the others.
All right. Making it Coolmouth's turn.
Coolmouth's turn. He is basically holding position with Parker. Making sure
Might want to go ahead and attack the centipede because the portal won't open until the centipede.
Oh, right. Yep. Well remembered. My character has an intelligence of 20. He remembers this stuff. Coolmouth runs up. Natural 20 with a hammer.
So, he yells out, "That only counts as one," and slams the other one. Thankfully, the portal crackles to life, the shimmering blue light once again filling the water as you see more chunks now blending into the environment.
All right, let's go.
Well, you can't speak, but yeah. Going in, this is room. Okay. You enter into an elaborate chamber. Copper coils crackling with energy, sconces with torches lit up. What must be a laboratory is in front of you, beakers and vials full of various fluids. Wooden tables lined up with various creations on them. And inside, you see floating are echo rates. And all of them at once turn, look, and begin floating your direction.
1 second.
There's a lot of Lord of the Rings references from me over time. And hi!
So initiatives?
Yes.
Okay.
Initiative. Oh, hold on.
Oh, no.
As the light fades and the blue shimmer dissipates, your body is racked with immense pain.
Ooh,
For the next 4 rounds, you roll with disadvantage.
fair enough.
And did I? Yeah, I rolled their initiative. They get a grand total of 5 for their initiative. Where did we get this? This was on Amazon, right?
Yeah, that was from Amazon.
So if you just type this in, you should be able to find it. And yeah, the shirt's really comfy. It's a little bit faded. I'm going to touch it up with some paint, but yeah. So who goes first?
What did they roll?
5.
Okay.
There's
so that
2 of
puts-
them.
That puts me first.
Okay.
How far away are they?
30 feet. It's a round chamber, by the way, instead of your usual square or rectangle.
So, I'm already kind of not feeling it, and it's these gravity, I'm giving myself away. These rays take a lot of punishment. So we're going to open up behind them, and a dark ball swirls around and starts sucking them back toward it as a gravity sinkhole opens. And it's kind of like a fireball, but it does force damage.
What's the save on that?
Yep, it's a 17.
I need you to roll.
Oof. Natural 20.
Your teammates also need to roll. Because when you cast it over there, it appears behind you.
Ooh.
That's not nice.
Each of these rooms has a description for an effect that is currently taking place within this chamber.
That's not
You know what?
nice.
We're just gonna let your party share the roll with you. How does that sound?
That's fine. Let's see how much damage we take.
It is. It's in this book. It is called The Portal Prison. On page 92 of this book.
It was a Constitution save, and incidentally, we had all made it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we take half damage. God, why did I roll well on that? 27,
I'm so sorry.
34, 39 divided by 2. We take 19 points of damage.
I'm trying to be a good DM. It is a really good book. It's very helpful. I think I'm going to run more games out of it.
Alright, so 19, ouch. And everybody's yelling at me now. Stupid wizard, what do you think you're doing? The battle's over there. Right, sorry. Kylie gets more damage
You
from
hear-
her teammates.
You hear, from Parker. This is a fail-safe mechanism. It disrupts those with the urge to leave by inverting their thought patterns, effectively leaving them with a desire to stay.
Well, that's a lie.
You can roll insight.
Yep. That is, for me, a 14. And just around, the highest is Prue. Oh, the highest is Prue with a 16.
So backwards. Everything is backwards. Reverse. The
Right.
desire to leave becomes a desire to stay.
So if I want to hurt myself,
No, says Parker. The mechanics have been reversed, not the mind effect. And this is a fail-safe.
Are they still coming?
Oh, yeah.
is there a way around it?
Whatever it is you're going to do it in reverse.
Right.
Oh, great.
Remember to hit behind you.
All right. So let the battle commence, and you are all rolling at disadvantage.
Oof. So Kylie turns around.
This is the most backward, stupid thing ever, and I love it.
Vicious mockery to the wall or whatever it is behind us.
Fair. Okay, and they do not make their roll on a 6.
Their next attack is at disadvantage,
Fair.
and they take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
And then she has 2 missiles left, so for her thing, she hurls the missiles in that direction, away from the battle. And the first one is 8 plus 7 is 15.
That does not hit.
And the second one is 12 plus 7, which is 19.
That hits.
All right. Launching it in the middle and doing 8 points of damage.
She needs to roll.
Yeah. Her wisdom save. 5. So is 12.
So she takes 3. We'll say 3.
Oof. Making it Coolmoth's turn.
All right, Coolmoth, let's see what you do.
He tries to run at them first.
Okay.
Realizes he's not going where he needs to, turns around and runs back. But unfortunately, it just puts him right back where he started. So his action will be to wait till they come closer and then strike behind him to hopefully hit one when they get there.
Okay. So whose turn is it?
That makes it their turn.
So obviously that means that they're flying backwards, which is moving them forwards, and they go to strike. That misses. That is an 18 to hit.
Does not hit.
Prue?
Nope.
Okay. And then the dwarf would be the closest one after that, right? Okay, so that's a miss, and that's a miss.
All right, so a lot of...
I should probably tell you guys the numbers. It was a 12 and a 15 to hit.
All right. So that brings it to...
Is that the start of the round again?
Yep, we're going to
Okay.
be starting around.
So round 1 is done.
All right. So
You are
My
still
turn
racked
first.
with pain.
still racked with pain, still at disadvantage. How many of them were there?
There's 2.
Oh, there's 2. I did the wrong one. I did a 3rd level instead of a 4th level. Shame on me. So I'll step backward and around, enacting my spell singing. Spin backward and strike away from this guy to hit him.
Okay.
I'm rolling the wrong die. Natural 20 or natural 20.
Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel Tower. Which means 7 plus 4 is 11 damage. Wisdom save is garbage. 12.
You take 5 damage.
Okay.
Any other IT crowd fans out there?
And make some swish motions with my sword and cast Blade Burst. So they
Okay.
both need to make dexterity saves.
Got it. That is a 14,
That's a fail.
and that is an 11.
And that's a fail.
This is my first stream. Yes, it is. Well, my first stream on my channel.
They both take 3 points of magical slashing damage. Even though it's a rapier, it's doing slashing damage.
All
'Cause
right.
of the spell.
Who's next?
That's me. Moving on to Prue, who is still racked with pain. For her bonus action, she will think about how small she wants to become.
IT Crowd is a British comedy that came out in the mid-2000s. It's really funny. It's on Netflix if you're interested.
She'll instead get really big. She will roll 12 to hit.
That does not hit.
She will roll a natural 1. And that is her turn.
Okay. So she swings, hasn't quite gotten
Swing and
the
a
hang
miss.
of everything being backwards. Would have landed hits if not for this darn room. Is it their turn then?
It is Coolmoth's turn,
All right, cool moth.
who is going to try swinging his hammer this way. That is 17 to hit.
That hits.
All right. And he'll do it again. That's bloody unlucky.
And there is actually a D&D episode in IT Crowd
That
as
is
well.
12 to hit.
That does not hit.
So when he hits, he is going to expend a 3rd level spell
Okay.
to smite.
Okay.
That does 4. And then... Are these considered undead?
No,
Okay.
they're elemental in
Okay.
nature.
2,
Haha, elemental in nature. Ha.
4, that's 10. 20, 22, 30 points of damage.
Wow!
As his hammer just goes on impact. And then he misses with a natural 2. That makes it their turn.
Excuse me. That is a miss with an 11. That is a natural 1. That is 20 to hit.
20 total?
Yes.
Who's attacking?
Kulmoth.
Miss.
Okay. And then an 11 to hit again.
Also miss.
All
Awesome.
right.
So
after getting smacked so intensely, I'm going to say the reason Kulmoth missed is it's trying to get it back up. Momentarily forgetting, move in reverse there, Kulmoth. And
what?
while he's down, he's able to move side to side, remembering that time to move backwards as they swing at him. Making it the start of the next turn.
Making it Kylie's turn.
Right.
Kylie is going to deftly shift around and do this to Coolmouth and give him True Strike so that he will be at regular attack next round.
That's okay. That'll be the last round where you're racked in pain.
And then she will cast Healing Word over there so that Prue will gain back 8 points of damage, 8 points of health.
That one looks a bit like a heart.
And
Doesn't
that
it look like a
starts it
heart?
over. That does look like a heart. Nerds. All right. I've made a mess of my dice. So, beginning of the round, we will cast Blade Burst again. They need to make dexterity saves.
That one rolled an 18,
That's a save.
and that is 17.
That is a save. So neither of them take damage.
Okay.
And then I stab one. That's a lie. Because it's 7 or 3. So I miss. And, yep, I'm going to stay right there, bringing it to Prue's turn.
All right. Go, Prue.
Prue makes her attack. That is 15 to hit.
No.
And that is less. So she's really big
Having a hard time hitting them, though.
and just waving above their heads. Bringing it to Coolmouth's turn. And that one didn't expire after he nailed it for 30. So he's mad. He's going to use a bonus action and cast Hunter's Mark on it.
Okay.
And strike at it, sort of. It's either, that's a 16, and then second attack is 17.
Okay, 17 hits.
Oh, sweet.
And what was the other one?
16.
That also hits.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my brain phased out for a second.
That's all right. So, oops. I need the 8. Does 12 points of physical damage and 8 points of radiant damage.
I need him to roll his wisdom save, please.
28.
Yeah, he makes it. He's fine. All right. And
That brings it to their turn as he's diving around.
that is 11. That is 16 to hit. That one rolls a 10. And that one rolls a 23.
So you've got a Goliath who's wearing half plate, and you've got a dwarf tank hiding behind his shield, which is why there's very
What
little
is Crew's
contact.
AC?
20.
So she gets hit.
Reaction from Cool Math, roll at disadvantage as he throws his shield away.
All right. That is 19.
Okay, that misses.
Okay, so he intervenes when she is about to get hit. Moving on to the next
Fighting
turn.
style. And that's Kylie. He didn't roll with advantage. That's fine. All right. She will again.
Did you want? Did he hit? He hit though, right?
He hit one of the times. Yeah, I think it was the
Go
first
ahead and roll again then, just so that way we can.
It's fine. No, he hit, so it's
Oh, okay.
because he would have rolled without disadvantage is all it would have been, but he
He
still
might
hit.
have rolled a natural 20.
But he didn't,
Mm.
because he was just it's a straight roll.
Right. Okay.
Kylie does that again
Okay.
on Cool Math, so that he can actually have advantage next round.
Okay.
And then she will cast a third level healing word on herself. Not healing word. Not herself, but on Kaizen, because he's the most hurt. And that is 8 plus 5 is 13. All right. And then that brings it back to the new round.
And this is the last round. You are all in pain, because this will be round 3, right?
This is round 4.
Oh, okay. So you were all done rolling with disadvantage. Okay.
Because she cast True Strike twice
Right.
and Vicious Mockery
Right.
once. So
At the beginning.
Yep.
Correct. Because she
Alright.
turned to the wall and did it.
yeah. And we're still backward, so it's still weird.
Yep.
But I again cast Blade Burst. Swishing around, they make dexterity saves.
That one rolled a 1,
Yes.
and that one got a 9.
Yes. So they each take 9 points of magical slashing damage.
So I would like you to tell me how one of them expires, please.
So with this Blade Burst, he just swishes with his sword at high speed, and the first one just gets diced, and it goes from smoke to almost like paper, and it evaporates as it starts collapsing
And
toward
it's
the
that
ground.
much more impressive because you're facing away from it.
Yeah, he doesn't even get to see it. That's the sad part. Everybody else is like, "Oh
It's
wow!"
all
And then he actually strikes the second one, and that is 25.
that
25
hits.
to hit. And that deals 7 damage. And does he make his wisdom save?
Yes.
And he takes half.
All right. And
Fine.
whose turn is that?
That brings us to Prue, still in her giant form. Nope. Yep. That is 18 to hit,
That hits.
and a natural 1.
That does not hit.
Doing 18 damage. Bringing us to Cool Math's turn. He gets advantage on his first roll. And that is god awful on a 13.
I'm sorry, what?
20.
That hits.
And then the second attack is 25. All right. So that one takes 9 points of physical and 7 points of radiant.
And it dissipates. He
Um,
finally gets in his stride after frustration over not being able to remember I need to move backwards, and lets that rage out into the last strike, sending it to the great beyond.
He finally gets it together as a paladin of vengeance.
All right. Let me get back to this page.
Right. Did you see? I didn't.
Yes, yes, we're all very proud of you. Everyone, carefully walk backwards towards the portal. You know, you all look quite ridiculous, you hear Parker say. And then...
Worse than you in your pajamas.
Kill him now. There might still be time. Otherwise, you're all doomed, you hear, bouncing off the walls, echoing Bunty's voice.
Actually, we're just gonna bring him to you so you can do it yourself.
Just kill him now.
Sorry, mate, you didn't pay us for that.
Then I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you have to needlessly die too.
It's not wrong. You can still come out of this smelling like a rose. Hello? Hello?
There's no other response.
Is this thing on?
You make your way through the room, Parker still laughing, echoing it off. It echoes off the walls as you make your way towards that blue shimmering portal in the corner. Well, there's no corner. Over towards one of the tables.
All right, mate. In we go.
As you step through, you enter into a beautiful temple. The white marble glistening, the gold decorations catching the light that would be coming from the outside if you knew this wasn't a cell. Tapestries hanging on the walls, depicting the various different gods and basins of water for anointing yourself, for the faithful and for the visitors. The tapestries, though, seem to be acting very strangely, as they look as though, while attached to the wall, floating in the air. But then again, so are you. You also realize, you know what? I just don't feel like moving as quickly right now.
No, shake it off, shake it off.
Oh. Oh no, you hear Parker say. Well, I will admit, this is bad. How bad? Kilmeth says.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't my design. This isn't a failsafe.
Oh, this is just an execution room then.
This is what happens when an object is dropped from heights with things inside of it.
Oh.
What do you mean?
The prison's plummeting.
We're going to run out of time very quickly.
Well, let's get moving then.
But just think, all the dead bodies. It's going to be a necromancer's dream. Field of study I never took. Shame. But I can always learn.
Well, if you don't make it out.
Trying to find my NPCs. Is it the player's handbook that has like the pre-made priests
Like
and
the
stuff?
Archmage and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Monster Manual.
Monster manual, thank you. Vader, get out of there.
Wrong genre.
We're not there yet. Okay. Also floating in the air are priests who are coming straight at you holding daggers.
No.
Initiative. They got an 18.
Oof. Prue has advantage. She rolled high anyway. All right. So, Kaizen gets an 11. Kylie gets a 21, as does Prue.
Nice.
Cool Math gets a 7, and they got an 18.
Oh,
All right.
no, they got a 20.
Oh, they got 20 total. Dirty 20. All right. So, Prue, still in her large form, tries to maneuver not so deftly while falling.
Will you hand me the player's handbook?
Oh, pulled it out already. I did.
Thank you.
She's gonna try swatting at one. Is there any like disadvantage or anything from not having? Okay. So SWAT 1 is a 15 to hit.
That hits.
Oof. And she's gonna swing again, and that's a natural 1.
No.
The one hit does 18 damage.
Oof.
Kylie. Is going to... She's going to look at one of the priests. You know, murder like this is not going to get you the wings you think you're going to get. Vicious mockery. Wisdom save. 18. It does not take damage, does not get affected. And then she strums her mandolin and casts Healing Word at level 2 on probably Prue, because she's the closest. Yeah, that'd be Prue. And heals 7 hit points. Now it's the priest's turn.
The first one casts Spiritual Weapon,
Oof.
and it's going to attack Prue. Oof. That is 14 to hit.
Nope.
And then he's going to... Wait, casting it is his...
Oh, it casts as a bonus action, but he could still do like a regular action.
He gets over and stabbies at her. Excuse me, they aren't using stabbies, they're using maces, my bad. That is a 13 to hit.
That is also a no.
The second one also casts Spiritual Weapon,
Oof.
and that misses as well. It swings and misses horribly, and because there's no gravity and this priest rolled a 1, it is now spinning in circles. Alright, whose turn is it next?
That will make it Kaizen's turn. Who,
I like that.
because we have no gravity, we're going to aim 30 feet behind the priests.
Okay.
And we're going to try this again.
Oh, I know what you're casting. Okay.
Gravity
Well.
sinkhole.
Oh, gravity sinkhole.
They need to make Constitution saves.
Right. Oh, gosh. That's a 4 and a 7.
Why weren't... So last time I rolled like 3 9s, a 7, and a 5. This time it's pair of 5s, pair of 6s, and a 3.
Well, how much does that do?
25 damage, and They are pulled in a straight line backward. What happens is this black hole opens up and they just go 30 feet backward into it, which is why they take the damage.
There is a unsettling crackling noise as one of them gets pulled directly into the heart of the black hole and begins folding in on himself.
Ooh.
There is now this broken, sad remnant of a priest folded up in ways that no person should, no matter how long they've been practicing yoga, now just floating in this gravity-less room.
And they're 30 feet away.
Yes.
So I will move the 30 feet toward the priests, and as my bonus action, because I cast a spell, I will strike him with my rapier.
Okay.
That is 23 to hit.
You're trying to move over towards them?
Hmm?
Roll an athletics check.
Fair enough. Athletics or acrobatics? Because
I'm treating it kind of like swimming.
Okay.
Because you're having to pull yourself through
Okay.
to move.
Okay.
So
That's terrible. 6.
you are moving at half speed.
Okay, so I don't make it
you're not
over
there yet.
That's fine.
Whose turn?
That makes it Cool Math's turn. Cool Math is... He's going to stay where he is,
Okay.
but he is going to cast Aid
Okay.
for his action and grant us all extra hit points in the amount, I think it's 8 hit points.
8 helps, right?
Yep, 8 helps. So yeah, that's his action. And that's it. We start over.
Okay. I was rolling his constitution save. He didn't make it, so the weapon disappears.
The good news on that for him is it's not a concentration spell.
Oh, I thought
so
it was.
So it stays. Nope.
Okay, so spiritual weapon is still engaged.
Yep.
Got it. All right. So who goes first? It's Prue, right?
It is Prue and Kylie. So Prue will make her athletics check. Which is something like 13. Trying to move that direction.
13.
To try to get over to him.
Yeah.
Okay. Strike 1. 26.
That hits.
Strike 2. Natural 20. God, that's gross. Strike 1 does 20 points of damage. Strike 2 is 22 points of damage.
So that priest is now gone. And even though these rooms seem to be filled with opponents not quite up to the task of taking on adventurers like yourself, these were obviously here designed for specific prisoners who you notice are absent.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's the challenge of getting to the portal that is floating near the basins. Not floating, but is near the basins as you're floating. You all need to roll athletic checks to get down to them.
How far down are they?
30 feet.
Kaizen does not.
Okay.
Kaizen Misty Steps. He's
Okay.
there. The rest of them... One, two... She's been rolling not with advantage, even though she was supposed to.
Oh, no.
That's fine, because she's in her giant form. And with advantage, her athletics would be 18, and then hers would be 7, and his would be 11.
And then Parker. test roll as well. He's having a hard time too, if that helps. Roll again. For those that didn't roll well, Parker makes his save and gets down there. The DC you're looking for is 12, is what you're trying to beat.
So everybody but Kylie has made it.
A little help here? You hear from her.
Right.
Misty step back to where she is, and then on the next round, grab her in Dimension Door.
Okay, so you make it down there.
Misty step and Dimension Door. All right.
As you step through this portal, there are no more negative effects, and you find yourself standing at the end of the hall again, where you started your adventure. You brace yourself for another round of pain, for another changing of a ferret, but you find yourself near Parker's old cell. It appears you have escaped. You are now back where your journey began, and the scene is chaos. Flames rip around the walls and ceiling, and a massive hole has been blasted through the floor in front of you. The other side of the corridor, now 40 feet of open air. You feel a rushing sensation as it becomes clear the entire prison is in free fall, hurtling towards the surface below.
Right, we gotta get out. Gotta get out.
Where do we go? The Guardian Legion tried to stop me. The Shield Guardians too. So I did what I had to do. And now I have no choice but to follow through on what's right.
By killing a bunch of innocent people.
This is my final warning. You must kill him. Now. Or hundreds will die when we crash into the ground. Maybe thousands. Still, fewer than the lives he's ruined. Do the right thing. End it. Kill him and I'll try to stabilize us. Why should more innocents be lost just so that he can receive a version of justice? The rest of the party turns and looks at you, looks at Parker. What do we do? There is some merit to what he says, but that's not true justice. You have 3 options. 1, do what little Bunty wants. 2, let me go, get yourselves out of here, and don't worry about the collateral below. 3, let me go, don't worry about what I'm doing, and stop little Bunty. Or 4, we hold on to you and stop Bunty.
I like the 4th one.
Roll an insight check.
Ooh, that's not bad.
You said insight, which is 16.
There is an ever so perceptible smirk that crosses Parker's face as you see his hand going towards the amulet around his neck.
And with that,
I pull my sword, aim it at him, and tell him,
we're gonna put you in your sister's clothes.
Tasha's hideous laughter. He needs to make a save. It is a open. There we go. Wisdom saving throw.
10.
He falls prone, laughing. over the most ridiculous statement.
Cool Math grabs the amulet and rips it off his neck when he bends over laughing. You won't be needing this anymore.
Prue, secure the prisoner.
So she rolled.
Super meaty fist.
She rolled high enough to go well over 10 plus on his AC, and Parker just crumples to the
Nice.
ground. Your bard raises her hand. Bunty's on the other side of that door. She points towards a metal door. Let me get out the map to show you guys real quick. If we don't get in there quickly, we're gonna land below like a meteor.
Who's coming with me?
Okay, so this is where they're trying to get to, and there is a metal door here that leads to where they're trying to go to.
Cool Math, you come with me.
1 second. You're making the wrong choice. You're one step away from finishing this. We have 2 minutes before we make impact.
Plenty of time to take you out.
So, dear player, you have 20 rounds to decide what you're doing to either get to Bunty, kill Parker, or abandon the ship. Round 1 begins now.
You said that wall.
That door, that metal door.
Prue, you're gonna get it open on this side. Cool Math, you're coming with me.
And we're gonna dimension door to the other side of that door. Can you do that?
Are there restrictions on what you can move through?
Mm-mm. Just as long as I have an idea where I want to go within 400 feet.
Well, you don't know what's on the other side.
Okay. I just get shifted over a little bit.
It doesn't have anything about if someone decides to teleport to the other side of the door. Okay, so you get to the other side of the door. And there are stairs leading up in front of you.
All right, up the stairs we go.
You run up to the stairs, and Bunty turns and looks at you.
Boo.
He grabs a dagger and holds it up to his throat.
Think about what you're doing. You're gonna kill a bunch of innocent people.
Initiative.
Sheeps. I got 22. I'm going to roll for Cool Math. Who got 10?
Bunty got 15.
Whew.
All right, so
You go to talk to him, and the dagger begins moving.
oof.
Now, you could try rolling a diplomacy check if you want to continue talking at him, or you can physically try to stop him.
It worked once.
Oh no.
You just missed it. We already broke his neck. It's all over.
Tasha's hideous laughter.
Why would that make him laugh?
Why not?
Good point.
Laugh in happiness.
Okay. What's the DC?
It is 17.
And what's the...
It's a wisdom save.
He got a 13.
falls prone in the space, laughing.
Okay.
And that's his action this turn. Is
So-
laughing.
For Bunty's turn, can he not still try?
Creature of your choice, see within range, perceives everything as hilariously funny and falls into fits of laughter if the spell affects it. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or fall prone, becoming incapacitated and unable to stand up for the duration. A creature with an intelligence score of 4 or less is not affected. At the end of each of its turns and each time it takes damage, the target may make another wisdom saving throw.
So he can make a wisdom saving
at the end of his turn, he
Okay.
won't be able to do anything.
So
that
he's
round.
on the ground, obviously not happy at the fact that he's laughing, and he's grabbing at his knife. His saving throw is a 12, so he begins almost vomiting out the laughter against his will, making it the dwarf's turn.
Coolmouth's turn. Is there a kind of check or anything to figure out how to activate anything on here? Like an arcana?
If you want to roll perception
Okay.
or investigation of some kind,
Definitely try an investigation.
yeah, laughter is an interesting route to go for stopping a guy from harming himself.
He gets a 17 on investigation.
So,
You said perception?
yeah.
Oh, my bad. It's still 17.
And who's rolling? The dwarf,
The
right?
dwarf. Yeah.
I need your help.
Right, coming.
He's standing there tugging at his beard. There's 2 levers. We need to pull them simultaneously.
Same time then. Right.
So, oh yeah, he rolled high enough on the DC. Now you both need to roll strength checks.
Ooh,
Large
that's not
wooden
good.
levers, squeezing the handle and pulling down. He does not make his save.
He gets a +5 to his roll, just so you know, on strength checks. I got a 9.
He got a 7.
Oh,
Okay, roll again.
right.
He made it that time.
I got 20.
That is the DC.
You!
Eiffel Tower.
You can see it. It's right here. It's a 19.
The sensation you get when an elevator stops, that lurch in your stomach,
Blah.
does not even begin to describe the sensation of the turbines kicking back in, the roar of them beginning their spin as the chains become taut as the prison moves down and then comes back into position.
What about the glass?
As you step out of the room, seeing the lock, Coolmath grabs Bunty by the back of his shirt and proceeds to drag him. I don't know how long you leave Tasha's hideous laughter on him.
The full minute.
So you're dragging him down the stairs. He's crying and doubled over in pain from laughing. You get down to the door. It needs to be unlocked.
Right.
I'm looking at everything, making sure it's all still good.
I'm on hitting this with your head.
No. Reaches down, picks up a ring of keys from Bunty and holds them up.
Right.
The dwarf nods. Prue looks at you.
We good. Step out, let Coolmouth come out dragging Bunty, who's just now finishing his laughter.
So, on top of hazard pay, I'm thinking we might even get a little bit extra for this bloke who just tried to ruin everyone's life.
What's the bard's name?
Kylie.
It gets worse. Remember that head of the guard?
Yeah.
She looks at the glass floor. They didn't make it. What about the other prisoners? Prue says. Parker rubbing his jaw. Oh, Bunty probably already executed them in their rooms.
Is that right?
Damn you all. Screen wipe. A ship comes to pick you up. They don't trust the teleportation devices right now. A group of wizards from the Archduchess's military essentially come and secure the prison. The town below has been evacuated for now for safety reasons. Bunty placed under arrest and Parker chained and gagged and put into a carriage, and the trial commences as planned. While you're there, the Archduchess looks at you. You overcame an impossible situation, and did so while ensuring what was best for our citizens, as opposed to yourselves. My offer stands, and is yours. I am in your debt, and I hereby name you protectors of the realm. We can never repay you for what you've done this day. You can try, says the bard.
Nudge, nudge. Is it like bright sunshiny outside?
So you are now standing in front of a palace, a small palace. The cobble steps lined with flowers and with a red carpet. The townspeople out and around. She stands on the top step as you stand or kneel. Prue's kneeling. As the Archduchess in a beautiful satin white gown speaks, the sun warm overhead shining down over you, and the sound of bells ringing throughout the air as she finishes her statement. He's playing a drow, by the way, so the bright sunshininess isn't the best for him. Some of her servants come out carrying a chest. As promised, 20,000 gold pieces. And each of you may come to our stores and pick out a unique item for yourselves. Naturally, a feast shall be thrown in your honor.
Naturally.
I never want to do that again. But it's going to make a great song. I already have the first line down if you want to hear it.
Oh, yeah. Can we go inside, though? Get away from this bloody ringing.
It is loud. Prue looks around. I feel like we did something good today.
It's kind of bittersweet, isn't it?
You know, I kind of wanted to kick Parker through that hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Game.
That was fantastic.
What do you guys think?
Oh, I'm way behind.
And look at that.
Right at 3 hours.
That first combat, like, I was really, really worried because of how long it was taking. I was like, that was way too many. I thought it was going to be, like, so much simpler. And, yeah. So, lesson learned.
I also have an issue where I like to conserve resources. Cool Math probably should have smote a lot more.
So, I know that, like, giant centipedes aren't that big of a monster to fight unless you're a ferret. But
That's your fair.
with the environmental challenges added to it, do you feel it was a sufficient difficulty?
I do.
And yeah, all of that, right out of here. It was great. Yeah, my goal was to make it a 3-hour game. Yeah.
It worked. I like that my character struggled in the beginning to do anything, and then ended up being the way he was Jack Burton. My character was bloody Jack Burton.
I'm flipping through the book. I'm like, can he just teleport? No, they don't have a contingency. It's like, I was really worried because it was like 100 hit points for that door. Reinforced steel. I was like, oh no, are they going to be able to do it?
Prue could do it.
I teleport. That's okay. I have it recorded. You can come back and watch it as soon as I'm done with all of this and stop live streaming and everything. Actually, I could go ahead and stop the recording and leave it there, or we can leave this whole after talk.
I think we should leave the after
Leave
talk.
the after talk.
Any comments? Anything? So we had the Goliath Rune Knight, so that's why she kept going enlarged, and she kept doing an extra D8 damage. They're all 10th level, so it's a party of 4 10th level characters. You had the 10th level Bard, which Bards are amazing in 5e.
I liked how utilitarian you made her.
Yeah, she was the healer for this particular one, but
Great.
I didn't want a cleric.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned during the pre-game stuff I was talking about, well, if we do a cleric, I'd want like a cleric of the grave or something like that. Like it's a walk to the gallows is just how I kind of had it in my head. But I like the idea of somebody being there to write down the events that took place. She's got a lot of events to talk about.
So, I don't know yet. How did you guys feel I did with my DMing? I know you weren't here for it, but for the rest of you, I know I need to work on my descriptions.
I think we talked about maybe every other week.
I know that I talked about live streaming, playing Uno in Candyland and stuff like that, and then even having
Chaos Uno.
Conversations here about stuff. Well, thank you. No, it's not fishing for compliments. It's I can't improve if I don't get feedback. Like utilizing creatures in their entirety. I didn't even get a chance to use all of the Dryad's abilities, but I wanted to give creative description and everyone be able to react to that, and make sure that it wasn't just number crunching constantly, because after a while that is one of the worst and best parts of D&D. You love the point where you get to combat and it's, I'm doing the thing. And then you're sitting there and it's like, oh my God, is it my turn? So, I'm glad. Were the descriptions okay? Because, again, when it's not a game you came up with, you can sometimes forget details. So, yay. Well, thank you again for being my guinea pig.
Yeah.
We might eventually make it to where we invite other people. Because I'm still learning Twitch and I don't know how to invite people and do group games and stuff on here, I'm working on it. No, as long as I'm giving enough for you to imagine stuff with it instead of you going, wait. Is it a forest or a plain? Because I know we'll have that where we'll start something and
we have it in our head and we're just like, blah, blah, blah,
it's
blah,
completely
and it's like,
different.
okay, I want to go hide behind a tree, but you're in the plains.
But you didn't say that. And that's on the DM. It's a mixture of things. It's on the DM for not explaining it, but also as a player, if the DM didn't explain it, you need to remember to ask. And you did that where you were like, wait.
Is it daytime or nighttime? What happened to the floor? Yeah.
Yeah, you asking was very helpful. Oh, well,
Appreciate
thank
that
you.
help.
Yeah. We're just learning everything. I am going to set up some stuff for running games for other people at some point. I don't know how soon that's going to be. Honestly, knock on wood, it'll probably be after hurricane season. So we're looking like October-ish when it starts cooling off a bit. Don't do that. Hold on to your kidneys. Please. You need both.
There are too many people we know that need extra kidneys.
But yeah, I love questions.
And the Dwarven Paladin of Vengeance. I didn't get down.
Did I play them okay for what you had in your head?
Totally. Absolutely.
I need to make a list of them.
Cavalier will be an interesting addition.
I love when people ask about this. If you go through my TikTok videos, you will see that I have a Victorian Dalek, and this is what I carry. I used to have a plunger, but I got sick of people asking, is it used? So I went with a whisk. And it's red and black because my character's dress is red and black.
Yep.
So
I remember when you first put that together, how excited you were.
That was my first big build. It wasn't armor or anything. That took almost an entire bolt of fabric.
So some behind the scenes stuff going on over here. Kaizen was purple because drow.
Ooh, dice.
Yeah. We had Kylie, who was this bright blue because she's a bard and is kind of happy. We had...
These were my dice. They're my Gliska dice.
This red set here for Kulmath because he's a Paladin of Vengeance. And then she's a Goliath, so Pruora had the green because Earth and things of that nature. And she's a smith.
The most feared weapon of them all. Yeah. Creative crafting tool. Shh, don't tell people my secret. But yeah, I do want to run more games. Gliska. Okay, yeah. So, fun story. That axe actually goes with my Dark Child cosplay. She is a character from X-Men. Of course, that's not her X-Men name. That's Magic.
Magic is...
And she turns into Dark Child. She's the sister of Colossus. It's her demon form. And I love the song I'm a Lumberjack. And it made me think of rolling randomly for a D&D character. So it was, what is one of the weirdest combinations we could come up with? And roll on a chart for that. And came up with a half-orc, half-gnome barbarian who is actually intelligent. It's just her rebellion from her parents, because they're retired adventurers, was to become a barbarian and fight in fighting pits. And the first video was, I am a lumberjack, and
I'm okay.
Yeah. And I was like, I need a weapon that...
I almost forgot I was in that video with you.
I need a weapon that conveys that she's small. I have a giant axe that I made. And so I went and grabbed it from my prop room, and the rest is history. I just grabbed random costuming bits that I either made or had, and yeah. Because that corset that I got from Spirit Halloween, I had never used it for anything. I was like, oh, why not? We'll use it for this.
You actually talked about, I think I'm just going to throw this away.
I almost threw that away. I'm really glad I didn't. That's how I came up with Gliska, was that. And
some workshopping on names and background later.
Well, the name was put up to a vote for when I hit 50,000,
Yep.
I think, yeah. I want to do more videos with her. I want to do more episodes, on YouTube. It's just, there's a lot of editing, so
They take a lot of editing. Even when we cut them down to, I say we like I do anything, but I'm in them.
you run the game.
I just run the game. She does all the other work. It's fun for me because I say I only run the game, but I end up spending
That's a lot
like
of work.
2 weeks prepping, like mentally, just to get the stuff on paper.
This is the way.
This is the way. But no, I love running Gliska episodes. I look forward to the next one because I do have some stuff put aside. I got some NPCs that are out there, like in TikTok land, that I have put on paper that I want to introduce. Not necessarily to run with, but just kind of as a shout outs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? I appreciate you guys for being here. Do you have any notes or thoughts on the game I just ran? Criticisms are good too.
I enjoyed all of it. I seem to remember, and we don't do underwater levels, so this isn't like something that immediately came to mind. But I do think that for creatures that aren't like water natives, like sharks and stuff like that, that they're at disadvantage when they're in the water. And I thought about that after the thing, and I had a moment of, nope, we're moving on.
I thought about that too, and then I was like, wait a second, these are also the fact that they're echo wraiths, so they're going to adapt pretty quick. Now,
But I was talking about for my characters I was running,
yeah,
that, I should have been rolling at disadvantage just because we're in water.
I think
It
you were
was just a centipede.
I think you were disadvantaged enough having been ferrets,
That's
so
true. That's fair.
it balanced out. So,
The Goliath ferret bit a centipede.
do we have any other OCs we would want to meet? Any? I love people's creativity, and I know people have lots of them. I have a hard time remembering names of the different ones. I have a hard time remembering people's names in real life.
Quincy, of course.
So,
It doesn't get any more wholesome
in
than
any
that, so.
any of you who create OCs, I would love to interact with them and stuff. That's one reason I enjoy TikTok videos, is it's kind of like being able to do that. So, yeah, I don't like water levels in video games. I mean, all I can think about is my childhood. My uncle, we didn't have a video game system when I was a kid, and my uncle had 2 Sega systems because
Sonic.
he liked collecting video game systems. He's like, well, I have 2 of these, so if you guys want them. And of course, that was not the modern system at the time, but we were grateful for what we had. Because we also had an old school Atari, because my grandparents found it in a basement. No, in an attic. They were like, oh, here you go. So the underwater level on Sonic always gave me anxiety. So the idea of running an underwater level, as soon as I saw that was in the book, I was like, oh no. So
I'm sure.
I've never played that one, but I can imagine. I'm going to start making a character for your next campaign. Any level restrictions? Let me think on that, and I'm going to make an announcement about that so I can plan stuff out.
So EXE, about that Dragonlance book, same. I read through it and went, no. I've got other stuff to do first. It's on the list.
Because I probably want to do a homebrew for anything I run for people with some inspiration from books. So I'll need to get together an idea first and then get that as planned out as I do. So. Oh, that would be awesome. I would love to get a group together, especially the people who were here as kind of a thank you for being a part of my first Twitch DMing. That'd be awesome. So again, we need to get out of hurricane season just to make sure that scheduling isn't disrupted by that, because it last year was pretty bad and we're still prepping for that. So Nintendo. I never had a Nintendo.
I did.
So wow.
Exactly. Yay, Florida.
I had an Atari, I forget. So not only did I have old school Atari, my grandparents gave us an old Apple computer, like the green
Like the 2E,
numbers and
yep.
everything. And everything was, like, the games had the numbers for walls and stuff, or, like, the letters. That was...
the old DOS-like system.
We couldn't afford any of the other stuff, so all my friends who had their game systems and their computer setups, I'm just like... So that's why having new desks and then a computer being able to do this, I feel so spoiled. Then again, I was excited when I got my first job and was able to buy matching bed sheets. I was like, oh, am I rich now? My bed sheets match.
Oregon Trail.
I remember playing that at school. I had a teacher who made all of us play it. I hated that game, but it was so fun.
It was stupid. There were like 7 different types of it too.
No. Like, I appreciate the excitement. I don't feel that I've earned it, and I truly appreciate it, and I would love to game with you guys. I needed this Band-Aid to be pulled off, so that way I feel comfortable streaming a game. The next big step for me is streaming a game where my player is not in the same room as me. So congratulations, you're going to be sitting in the living room.
I will be sitting in the living room.
Oh, that's neat. I appreciate the excitement, and it's like rocket fuel. I think I'm getting less anxious when I do these. Like, I'm not talking at 400 miles per hour.
The build-up
getting
today,
better.
though, and EXE will testify to this, when I said that the nerves were real, I wasn't kidding. But the moment I sat down, had my character sheets, I'm at home.
Yeah. It's just remembering that we're in front of people, so I try to make sure that I behave.
Millions of people.
Yeah, millions of people. Who do you think you are? Matt Mercer?
No.
I still have never listened or seen Critical Role. And you're on episode what?
I am on episode 110. I'll tell you in a second.
Huh. That is neat. You're looking it up.
I am at the last 40 minutes of episode 109.
Wow. We are actually going to call it because it's almost 2, and we still have lightsaber training tomorrow. So, guys, thank you so much for being a part of things. How did I hurt your heart? What'd I do? What? What'd I do? Yeah, we're in the panhandle.
Oh.
She
gets filled in.
I support Critical Role. I'm not one of those people who's like, no. I love what it's done for the fandom. I love the D&D resurgence. I appreciate it. As he says, my boy Nightcrawler is one of the guys in it, so I'm here
I love that the whole thing started because it was his birthday.
And I did not know that.
It was a birthday present to him.
That's cool.
To start doing it.
So I can appreciate what it's done. He checks Amazon a lot for that.
I am so excited for Vox Machina, The Legend of Vox Machina. I cannot wait.
He's got a Percy pop figure sitting over there. Yeah. So.
I got my new Percy glasses in the mail a couple days ago. I'm excited.
anything Critical Role that I find, I'll buy it. Well, sort of buy it. I'll be like, we should get that, and yeah. So, but thank you guys again so much for being here. I appreciate it. And any feedback you have, please let me know. Yeah. Thank you for gaming with me.
Hey, it was
Thank
a lot
you
of
for
fun.
being a part of things, and we will see you guys next time. And